Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mid Morning on WCBI. This is a new look and, well, obviously a new host for this long-running program as Andrea guided it for so long. We hope you enjoy as we explore interesting topics from everyday life to politics to health to something fun. Hopefully, it will challenge you to think and laugh along the way. And you know his face and voice from Next to Nature each week here on WCBI. And we wanted you to get to know Dr. John Long a little bit better. Dr. Long is a lifelong outdoorsman, teacher, and learner. He shares his vast knowledge with us through Next to Nature. And I say this every time, I learn something new every time I'm with Dr. Long.
I do as well. I do as well.
So I know a little bit about you. You grew up in Sturgis, but how did or why is maybe the outdoors something that just sort of fascinates you?
Gosh, that's a good question. I think a lot of things have changed. I think you'd agree with me on that. You know, we have all this technology and all these young people are really involved, you know, in that technology. And I don't really think they get outside as much as we used to. And to me, it was my Facebook or my, whatever you want to call it, you know, Instagram. That was my entertainment. I had really good teachers, very blessed to have had some outdoorsmen that introduced me to a lot of different aspects, not just hunting, not just fishing, but a really an appreciation for the outdoors that I feel so fortunate to have. And it's taken me a lot of places. I've been all over the country doing various things such as hunting, fishing, and just appreciating nature in itself. So.
Yeah, I think for people maybe that don't get outdoors a whole lot or maybe aren't outdoor oriented, you really have to have, like you said, that appreciation, and because it is about conservation and it is about, you know, really making the outdoors a better place and keeping it thriving because so much lives there.
And I think that's very important too. I'll go back to the aspect of young people. I hope that that's not being lost. You know, we see a really decrease in young people outdoors doing various outdoor things. But I think it's an opportunity, and I can speak to this myself. Being outdoors really stirs my interest into learning more, and I consider myself to be a lifelong learner. And I have so many questions that I want to answer, and when I see something that I don't know, I will go above and beyond trying to find the answer for it. I love that. It's just an investigative part of it, I guess, is what really is exciting to me too. My wife just drives her crazy because I just give her, you know, unlimited amounts of useless knowledge to her, but to me, I appreciate it.
And it's fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely can see that. And I will say some of our segments that we've done on Next to Nature, you have really tried to work in technology, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And do you see that as kind of like maybe saying bridge the gap almost that may be there?
I think so. I think it's been a very good part of an educational component to, as I said, the education. We've talked about different aspects of technology from plant ID, insect ID, birds, just about anything, you know. And
Trail cams.
Trail cam. Let's not talk about hunting. Get me started. I won't shut up. But yeah, trail cameras and things like that. There's just, you know, I've actually seen it. I've seen it from infancy, and the way it's just transformed a lot of the things that we do outdoors. It's just amazing. And nature in itself is amazing.
It really
is.
is.
So it kind of like, it does drive the technology because people want to be informed about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. All right, more from Dr. Long when we return. Stay with us. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're here at the table with Dr. John Long, the brains of Next to Nature. No, that is the truth. That is the absolute truth. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Next to Nature. Have you been surprised at maybe the feedback you've gotten from Next to Nature and kind of what people are learning and taking away from the segment?
Yeah, that's great, and I really do enjoy it when people approach me in public and they say, I really love the show, and I'm really interested in some of these things, and you've really taught me a lot, about things I didn't know. But then I've also had people come to me and they say, oh, why don't you do a segment on this, and I'm really curious about this kind of stuff. So I've got a list on my phone. So if you come up to me and you have an idea, it will go in my phone, I promise you that. So,
there you go, using that technology again.
That's right.
We have discussed various topics. We'll continue exploring. Sometimes we have different ideas that just spring together from life, honestly.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how those ideas come to us. I guess if you had to pick one favorite subject of the outdoors, and I know I'm not saying this correctly, but what is it? And we've talked about this. You really love cicadas.
I love them. Insects in general to me are just fascinating. I mean, it's just amazing. They've been around for so long, and cicadas amaze me because of their life cycle. And then you've got all these other aspects, do mosquitoes really benefit, the food chain or the food cycle? Absolutely they do. They've also been a harm to the, populations of people.
That's true.
But so there's that aspect of it. So yeah, I would say as a whole umbrella, it would be entomology or insects. I think that's the most fascinating thing, other than the wild turkey. I love the wild turkey.
He does like turkey hunting. All right, thanks, Dr. Long. I really appreciate you coming in and talking with us. All right, we'll have Mid-Morning coming back after the break. All right, welcome back to Mid-Morning, and I have to admit, I have no idea what's about to happen here.
Well, this is your first show, right?
Yes.
This is your first show, okay. Well, I want to give you something that has been good to me and given me good luck. This is my Buckeye that I've had for a long time, and Winston and I did a segment on that. So I have carried that in my vest all over the country, and it's really given me a lot of good luck in all things they do. So I wanted to give that to you and wish you luck.
Well, thank you.
Airing this.
I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
I have not seen a Buckeye since I was a kid. Me and my dad used to hunt down in Kemper County, and I found them out in the woods down there.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Hope it brings you a lot of good luck.
I appreciate it. I'm going to set it right here on the table for the rest of the show. That would be perfect. Thank you, Dr. Long. I really do appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Well, and look forward to more Next to Nature segments.
That's right.
All right. Well, here is a question for you. How much time do you spend scrolling on social media? If the answer is too much, and me too, by the way, you will really feel this next story. Oxford's word of the year for 2024 was brain rot. It refers to the feeling you get after spending long hours aimlessly scrolling through the internet content, or last night as I like to call it. Medical experts say it's a real condition and concerning. Jen Sullivan explains how binge watching affects your brain.
Many of us are guilty of it, mindlessly binge scrolling through internet content. But could that be doing damage to our brains? Medical experts say it can cause what's referred to as brain rot.
It's a real thing, and it's concerning for a lot of people.
Medical experts say consuming long stretches of low-quality content online can trigger cognitive decline, brain fog, and shorten our attention span. But overindulging in internet content can cause even more severe symptoms like depression in teens.
More than 3 hours a day for teens seem to double their risk of depression.
So how does excessive binge watching impact our brains?
It tends to thin certain areas of the brain called the cortex that is responsible for your memory and your perception.
What can we do to prevent brain rot? Limiting our screen time can help. The most recent survey from Pew Research Center asked a group of teens ages 13 through 17 about their tech usage. 95% say they have access to a smartphone. 46% say they use the internet almost constantly. But it's not just a teen problem. A different Pew survey found that 90% of adults say they use the web daily, and 41% say they are online almost constantly. Medical experts say it's important to keep track of how much time you spend online to prevent binge watching. For Health Minute, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Microsoft is expected to spend big money on artificial intelligence this year. For fiscal year 2025, the company said it's on track to invest approximately $80 billion to build out data centers. They will be used to train AI models and deploy AI and cloud-based applications worldwide. In a blog post this week, Microsoft said more than half of that $80 billion investment will be made in the United States. The company said the U.S. leads the global AI race right now, and it called on the incoming Trump administration and Congress to expand efforts to support the advancement of AI. Well, speaking of the Trumps, months after releasing a best-selling autobiography, incoming First Lady Melania Trump is part of an upcoming documentary on Amazon Prime Video. Filming began in December, 1 month after her husband, President-elect Donald Trump, won a second term in the White House. A release date for the yet-to-be-titled documentary hasn't been finalized, but is expected to come out in the middle of 2025. Brett Ratner is directing the film, which an Amazon spokesperson calls a, quote, truly unique story. Mrs. Trump will be an executive producer on the project. Well, this could also be a talker online, especially if you notice something different. Chick-fil-A makes a change to one of its signature items. It's a new recipe for the chain's waffle potato fries. The fast food restaurant says this adjustment will help keep the fries crispier for a longer period of time. According to a statement on the Chick-fil-A website, this new recipe doesn't have any major allergens, but it does include pea starch. All right, we will be right back with more Mid-Morning after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Bonnie Raitt is a 13-time Grammy Award-winning winner, a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Rolling Stone has called her one of the greatest singer and guitar players of all time. Recently, she was honored by the Kennedy Center. Gayle King talks with Bonnie Raitt about turning what used to be a hobby into a brilliant career.
Let's give 'em something to talk about.
Over the years, Bonnie Raitt has had plenty to say.
If I can't sell the song with a guitar or piano, I'm not doing it.
Let's give 'em something to talk about.
But on this night, the Kennedy Center honoree gets a chance to reflect.
Bonnie, thank you for singing such a beautiful music and for shining your light so bright on the world.
Bonnie Lynn Raitt, this is your life. Now, first we'll just say congratulations, Kennedy Center honoree.
Morning will come, and I'll do what's right.
It's unreal to me that I'm going to be up in that balcony, you know, and my friends will be saying all that nice stuff and singing my song. I wasn't expecting it, and I'm just tickled beyond words.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. You can't make your heart feel.
Many consider Raitt's songs a sentimental soundtrack for moments in their lives. Here we are, 2024. You sing those couple of chords, and everybody knows that song. What that
And
means
I have
to
people,
you.
I'm checking my bags at the airport,
Yeah.
and the sky cap's going, I can make you love me. I go, right.
Do they sing
We
that
have-
to you?
Oh, yeah, everybody's had a broken heart. That's one of the great breakup songs. All these years, every night I sing it, I know what it means to them, and I know what it means to me.
Raitt's own emotional connection to music began early on in her home in Southern California. You grew up with music in your home, right?
Well, my folks are both great musicians, and I have two brothers, and we all love to sing. You know, we were Quakers, so we didn't sing in church, but we did a lot of campfire singing and that, but mostly my dad and mom were singing my dad's Broadway songs and rehearsing.
Her father, John Raitt, was a famous Broadway star, and her mother, Marge Goddard, was an accomplished singer and pianist. So did that seep into your DNA, into your...
Here's what seeped in was his love of performing, and he couldn't believe that he got paid for doing something that he would love to do anyway. So it was not lost on me what a gift it was to get to do what he did for a living.
Did you know, I have something here special, or you just were a kid that liked to sing?
You know, I was singing my dad's songs just for fun, but I picked up the guitar just because of my passion for folk music. And like all of us that like work at it to where you get pretty good, you know, it's mostly for yourself. I had no interest in doing it except as a hobby.
She held that belief until her second year as a student in Boston at Radcliffe College, which is now part of Harvard University.
I took a little break from college to hang out with these older blues legends that my boyfriend was managing and booking. My folks said, if you leave, you got to support yourself while you're taking a break. And I saw somebody playing at a local club, and I said, well, you know, I could probably do that. And I auditioned, and I got one gig, then I got another gig, and next thing I knew, I had a sideline while I was in college.
Said I ain't going down that big road by myself.
Soon the industry got wind of a young red-headed woman playing lead guitar and singing the blues.
I went back to school and then got offered a record deal basically in what would have been my junior year, and I said, oh, well, this won't last.
So that was unusual then for someone
It's
like you.
Still kind of unusual
is
to
it?
play lead guitar on slide guitar. There's more women doing it, but back at the time it was unusual.
Make me an angel that flies from the country.
Raitt went on tour and made several albums for Warner Brothers over the span of 12 years, until 1983, when the label suddenly dropped her.
They didn't want me to play more rootsy rock and roll, or they wanted to, you know, the big corporate guys took over my record label. They dropped Van Morrison and T-Bone Burnett and Arlo Guthrie and me on the same day. And I was more just mad than I was brokenhearted or anything. But it ended up taking a while. I decided to get sober a few years later. I had a love affair go bad. I had a down period in the middle 80s, but the saving grace for me was I could always tour and have a great time on the road.
You might be good, honey, but you ain't worth the price. Three-time loser.
In 1989, the folks over at Capitol Records came over and saw my show and said, hey, you know, would you like to come over and we'll show you a whole better respect than you've been having lately.
I found love in the midtime.
Under a new label, Raitt found commercial success like she had never seen before. Let's stay there for a second in Nick of Time, what that meant to you, that period in your life, because that was such a huge song.
It was mind-blowing to me to be able to see my position actually get on the Billboard chart and have the record even before the Grammy nominations came out. It sold 1 million copies.
Nick of time.
Then you seemed to be on a roll after that.
Yeah, we got another record that even had bigger hits on it with something to talk about.
People are talking about people.
In 1992, that song won her another Grammy. And last year, she took home 3 more, including for Song of the Year.
Just like that.
Just like that, your life can change.
Who do you see when you're on the stage? What are you thinking?
I'm walking past Taylor and Lizzo and Beyonce, and I'm just in hyperspace. I'm walking up there, and I'm just so grateful and just believing it. And when you turn around and look out at the audience, they're all standing up applauding. It's all you can do not to just completely lose it.
The quiet behind a slamming door. The break of a heart that won't break no more.
I sit and I look at your white streak, which I love because it's such a trademark. When did that happen for you?
It was funny, I was pointing it out to somebody on my the album with Angel from Montgomery in '74.
So you were
But I
20
just started like 24, and it was just starting to poke out. And every album cover, it gets a little bit wider. And then finally, in the '80s, I said, okay, I'm gonna just make my hair really, really red. So I popped it up and covered it up, but I just had gotten so used to having it that from then on, I pull it out, and when I color my hair, it's the only authentic streak I have.
I was calling out your name.
We filmed our interview in the apartment of her longtime drummer, Ricky Fitard.
Broken heart.
When she's not on the road, she comes here to review live recordings in his home studio.
Of a fool who cared too much.
Do you get goosebumps when you hear your own voice? I get goosebumps.
Oh,
Do you
you're
get
so
goosebumps?
sweet. No.
I get goosebumps.
Oh,
Ricky and I
I
get
get
goosebumps.
goosebumps when I'm singing, though.
You
when
do?
I'm singing, yeah.
You and Bonnie have worked together a long time. How do you describe her voice?
Well, I mean, I describe it as it's lived in.
Lived in. I love that description.
Yeah.
What does it mean? What does that mean?
It means, you know, her life, her body, it comes out in the voice. It's her life.
I said, baby,
As this year's tour came to a close,
are you ready for the thing called love?
Rate says she already has 39 dates set for 2025. Are you happy with how your life has turned out?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I just want to be as much able to make as big of a difference in the world as I can. I'm confident as long as I give everything I've got to quality music and play as great a performance as I could, that the audience is going to come back and see me next time.